Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. Today I'm going to brave it and try and do a 24-hour readathon. So it is just coming up 10 PM now, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to keep note of how long I read for throughout the day, because I'm so tired and I need to sleep. This is my last day of work this week, so I only work 2.5 days. So today is my day to sleep as long as I want to. And tomorrow I've got a few bits and bobs that I need to go and do, so I obviously can't be reading during then because I'm not much of an audiobook person. I have to physically read it or have it on a Kindle. So for that reason I'm just going to take note of how long I'm reading for. I also don't have a clock in here, so maybe I will try and source a clock or a laptop or something I can use. But you'll just have to take my word for it. It's about to turn 10 PM on Wednesday night, and I really fancy reading. I'm too hot to do anything else. It's boiling at the moment, so I just thought I'd do it. Also, my fan is on. You'll hear it in a few videos over the summer because I am so not cut out for the summer. I am ready for winter again. Please make me cold. For today's video, I've got a few options lined up of what I want to try and read, or options that I can pick from. I do have a pretty big TBR, but a lot of it is things that I know what sort of video I would want to read them in, or I'm just not in the mood for them right now. So hopefully I can get through at least a few of these books. I don't know how quick I am at reading, so I don't even have a guess as to how many books that I could do in 24 hours. So the first book that I want to try and get to is Strictly the Worst by Carrie Elks. This is the 5th book in the Salinger Brothers series. I have thoroughly enjoyed this series. They range from about a 3 to a 4 star for me. Nothing's quite been a 5-star yet, but I have high hopes. This is an enemies to lovers and forced proximity, so it sounds like a recipe for a good time. And it's on Kindle Unlimited, which is a big thing. I'm probably going to read on my Kindle for the first chunk because I don't like reading by lamplight, which is what I've got at the moment. So it's just a me thing. But that is book 1 that I want to try. Then I think these would be good contenders because they're quite small. I've got When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I don't know too much about these. I know it's like a pop star and a baker and then a bodyguard and a florist, I think. So, again, loads of people love these, so hopefully they are nice quick reads for me. I have then got 2 very random ones, but I have them and they're small, so I want to get them out of the way. That sounds really bad. I want to read them, just I don't know when. So I've got The Plus One by Maisie Eddings, which I know takes place at a wedding, but that is quite literally the only thing I know about this book, and I just picked it up because I was in a weddingy mood, you know. Then I've also got The Summer We Fell by Elizabeth O'Rourke. Might be wrong with that pronunciation. And again, I don't know anything about this one, just a nice summery read. If I don't read it in this video, I'm probably going to unhaul it because I have no desire to read this, and it's on Kindle Unlimited if I do go back to it and decide I want to read it, and it's on offer in the works, so if I really need to I can just go buy another one for £2. So those are them. And then the last couple are all part of a series. They're the Queen's Cove series by Stephanie Archer, and again, I just know I love Stephanie Archer's writing. I've recently read the first one, and these are on Kindle Unlimited too, so I can breeze through these if I want to this evening. So I think my first book is going to be Strictly the Worst, just because it literally came out today. And yeah, I want to read that one. So let's see how far Sorry for the angle. Where I'm in my lounge, I don't have somewhere to prop my phone, so just at my level. But I have finished Strictly the Worst. I did enjoy it. I think I'm going to settle on a 3-star though, just because it was like, in the beginning, I didn't really like the male main character Link. But I loved Tessa almost said the wrong name. I love Tessa. She is a single mum, and her daughter Zoe, 13, so cute. Loved her in the story. Yeah, it was a bit mid. I definitely, the book before this one, I can't remember what it's called. Maybe Strictly Not Mine. The third one and the fourth one I really enjoyed, and then this one and the other two were just a bit mid. So I still recommend it. I got through this in 2 hours and 8 minutes, and that was split up across the day. I don't just sit and read in one chunk, because as I said in the first clip, I do have stuff to do today. I have to tidy my house because my boyfriend's coming around this weekend. So yeah, I'm going to start When in Rome by Sarah Adams and see if I can finish that today as well. It's been a few days since I started this video. I only managed to do about 4.5 hours of reading in the 2 days that I had originally planned to film this. Like, I was going to try and do 12 hours a day, but it didn't work out that way. I ended up having my boyfriend around, we've been hanging out, we've been playing video games together, so overall I think that was probably not a better use of my time, but like, it's nice to have him here. So this is just going to end up being filmed across the week like I would do with any other video, and I'll just time how long I'm reading for anyway. But as I said, 4.5 hours reading. I've done a whole other like 2 and 20 minutes reading, I think, and I have finished another book. I read When in Rome by Sarah Adams. This was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why. I built it up that I wasn't going to be a fan of Sarah Adams, so I hadn't read any of her books at all. I now own 3 of them. So, but this one, I really enjoyed it. It is a pop star, which is Amelia, gets stranded in Rome, Kentucky when trying to recreate one of her favourite Audrey Hepburn movies, which I can't remember what it's called now. It's like the Roman Holiday, I think it's called. And her car breaks down outside of Noah's house, who is our main love interest. He is a pie shop owner, a pie baker, in Rome, Kentucky, and it's just a little romance following them. It's really cute. It's false proximity because they end up living together. It was just really good. I did realise partway through though, and you may notice, I do like Lightning McQueen, you know, I've got him on my arm. Cars is one of my favourite movies ever, not gonna lie. This had so many similarities to Cars. It made it better for me, truly. I don't know if you would feel the same, but let me know if you've read this and you've seen Cars. Do you think I'm wrong? There's similarities, you know, famous person gets stuck in a small town and ends up loving it, you know? But yeah, so this was great. It is closed door with reference to Spice, which I don't tend to read. I normally just read open door because Spice doesn't bother me in books. I quite enjoy it. I'm very like into that, very open about my interests in that. So this did blow my expectations out of the water, and I ended up giving it a 4. Maybe a 4.25 would be more accurate, because I did enjoy it more than more than other books that I just give a regular 4-star. But I really enjoyed this. I'm so excited to read the next Sarah Adams book. I've got Practice Makes Perfect, which is like not a follow-on to this. They're standalones, but with the same like similar characters, side characters, which I think Practice Makes Perfect is between Amelia's bodyguard and Noah's sister. So that should be interesting because the bodyguard isn't really in this one. So I'll probably end up reading that very soon. However, I have started another book. I haven't got very far into it. I think I'm about 2 or 3 chapters in, and it's okay. Like, I'm only like 20 pages in, if that. So I don't have much of an overall view of the book yet, but I do intend to read it because it's on Kindle Unlimited as well, so I can just blast through that on there. But it is The Heartbreak Rule by Stephanie Archer. This, I think, came out, I'm assuming, before any of her other books because it's a standalone. I don't know why I assumed that, and it's the only one that is still indie published. It's bigger, you know, when indie books are like, you can see it's taller than a regular size book. So I'm assuming it's her first one, and it just hasn't been picked up by like a publishing company yet, maybe? I could be wrong. But this one follows a comedian, I think, and the owner of a theatre, again. I might be wrong, but I think that's what it is. It's okay so far. I love Stephanie Archer's books. I've now read 3 of them. This will be my 4th, and all of the books that I've read from her were a 4 or 5 star. So I have high expectations, which could be setting me up for failure here. But either way, I'm gonna read it and hopefully love it. I do love the cover for this one as well. I just think the burgundy of like the cover and the spine is really pretty, and compared to her other books, this is like a bit of a darker vibe. Cover wise, I don't know about the content yet. I'm going to assume it's not though. Yeah, let's read this and see what I think. Read 2 books since I did an update for this video. I won't lie, I didn't get any footage of me reading one of them because I just binged it on my work breaks. So there's no footage for that. You'll just have to take my word that I did read it for this video. So the first one I did was The Heartbreak Rule by Stephanie Archer. I think I did a little clip of this when I'd got maybe 20 pages in and I wasn't keen on it. I got keen on it. It was so good. I really enjoyed this actually. I'm very, I don't want to say attached to, because I literally finished it last night in the early hours of the morning. But Gemma and Reed, they're so cute. They have such great chemistry. The one downside with this though, I think, is because Gemma, the main girl, is a stand-up comedian, there's a lot of comedy in this book, and I just found it a bit cringe to read. Like, I don't know if anyone's the same, but reading comedy instead of watching it, not for me that. So this one only got a 4 star, just for that reason, that and they gave each other nicknames at the start of like Ice Queen and Beardo Face, so that was a bit weird at the start, but it picked up. I highly recommend this. It's on Kindle Unlimited if anyone wants to read it. But as always, Stephanie Archer pulled through. She's remained a top author. Then I think I found a new top author, because the second book by Sarah Adams that I've read, Practice Makes Perfect, and I thoroughly enjoyed this too. I think maybe, I can't rank it against the others yet. Maybe at the end I'll do a ranking of the books that I read, because I feel like a lot of them are going to be just 4 stars straight, because I'm picking books I think I'll like. And this is very on par with When in Rome and The Heartbreak Rule for me. This again was a 4 star. This was about Annie and Will, and it's a bit of like, not a fake dating, what was the trope I'm thinking, where he's teaching her how to date. And I've not read that in a book before. I really enjoyed it though. It went so much smoother than I was anticipating. I thought it'd be a lot of like awkward conversation of like, oh, I don't know how to kiss, you'll have to show me. But I think it was done really well. So again, if you haven't checked out Sarah Adams, I'm sure everyone has though, because I feel like I'm the last person to hop on that train. Highly recommend. I've really enjoyed When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect. The other books I've read are over there, that's why I keep looking there, sorry. But yes, I highly recommend these. I don't know what I'm gonna read next though. Again, my TBR is like there. I don't know. I don't know if I want to just binge read some more Stephanie Archer and get some good ones, because I know I like them, or if I try something completely random. Like, I've got 3 Gabrielle Zevin books that are all quite small, because I'm sticking to small books. This seems to be working. Oh, and the time update, I haven't even told you. I'm up to 8.5 hours, so I've read 4 books in 8.5 hours, which is mental. I thought I'd be reading like 6 books in this video, but it seems like I'm going to be reading quite a few more. So yes, I'm really enjoying this. This has been so much fun. I've had so many good books. Like the 4 I've read so far, I think all of them have been, or maybe the first one was a 3, but they've all been quite good. I really enjoyed all of them so far. So let's see how much more I can read. And I'm genuinely concerned I won't finish this by the end of the week, because I keep binging them really quickly and I need to like fill out my time. So maybe a longer book would be the way forward, but let's see. this video has completely been a fail because it's been much more than 24 hours at this point, but I'm going to keep going just because I'm curious to see in 24 hours timed how many books I can read. So completely off the rails from what it's meant to be. Maybe I'll try again in the like 2-day format at the end of the month because I have another weekend where I'm home alone, but we proceed anyway with this one. And I don't really know what to read next. I have a few hours now where I don't have anything planned to be done, so I just want to crack on with some reading. I really don't know what to pick up. I'm halfway through 1984 by George Orwell, and I've been trying to annotate it. I've sort of given up on that now because it's not that I'm not interested, but I've been trying to read this for like 2 months now and I've only made it about 100 pages in, so maybe I'll pick this one up very randomly. I decided the other night that I wanted to annotate Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, so you can see I'm not far into that, like 20 pages. But maybe I'll pick up this one because Harry Potter is always an easy read for me. It's one of my favourites, possibly my favourite of all time. Like my book of all time is Chamber of Secrets. It's just like my comfort read. I read it all the time, or very randomly, and this is very tiny, so it is compelling for me to read. Is Girls in Love by Jacqueline Wilson. I used to read Jacqueline Wilson a lot as a kid, and the Works had this series for £10 for all 4 books, so I picked it up yesterday, and I'm kind of tempted just to like switch my brain off and read this at some point in this video, so you'll probably see that. I think I'm probably going to go with Harry Potter just because that is like a safe choice. I'll probably do a bit of that, and where I'm annotating it, it should take me a while as well, so because I'm on like 5 books now in like 10 and a bit hours, so I clearly read a lot quicker than I anticipated because I've never actually thought to time myself ever reading. Obviously a bit of a weird one to do, so I've done really well. 5 books, I can see the books there, that's why I keep looking, and I think I've said that in a clip before that my books are there, so sorry that my eyes keep going that way. And also you can just about see my dogs. I've got one up here and one behind me. I have a third one, but she's not in the room right now, so yeah, I thought they'd be a lot more mischievous in the background, but clearly they just want to sleep. So I'm gonna crack on with a bit of Harry Potter, and I'll check in when I either get bored of that or pick up a new book. So and I also finished Girls in Love by Jacqueline Wilson, which I will say was a bit of a cheat for the challenge because it is just under 200 pages, so obviously a very tiny book, but I had the itch to read it, so I did. But I don't think I need to give a review for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets because I am a huge Harry Potter fan, so obviously it's a 5-star. I did manage to annotate it. You can just about see some of my like highlights through the book. With Harry Potter specifically, if I'm annotating, it's in a bit of a silly goofy way, like yeah, I'll highlight it if I think the writing is good, but also I'm gonna highlight Fred, George and Oliver Wood every single time and draw little hearts around them because I'm a simp, what can I say? So this was a 5 out of 5, and then Girls in Love, I think I gave it 3. I am definitely a bit old for this, obviously, reading now, because I don't know if it's kids or teens. I think it's maybe for young teenagers, but I was reading this and the topics are just a bit, there was a lot of drama for less than 200 pages. Like one of her friends, oh, I haven't even explained it. Basically, this follows Ellie, who is 13, and obviously her 2 friends, which are also 13, going through year 9, and I think Ellie starts dating but not dating a 12-year-old called Dan, which that's fine, that's an acceptable age, but then her friend starts dating a 17-year-old that specifically dates younger girls so that he doesn't have to wear protection if they have sex, because they're virgins, so he can't catch anything. What? I do not remember that as a plot in this book at all. I know it was about the 3 girls and there was some like letter-based romance, very loosely, because they are kids. So I just thought it was a bit like shook. I was shook reading that. But I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3 just because obviously I'm a bit old for it, but it was good. Yeah, like I'd still if I had a kid, I'd let them read this, because Jacqueline Wilson is very good at integrating topics into her writing, such as the 17-year-old trying to sleep with a 13-year-old thing, which obviously is not right. And doing it in a way where it's acknowledging that that's not something you should do as a 13-year-old. So I think it's good. Definitely one that helps girls with things like there's a lot of body image stuff that our main character goes through throughout the series, I believe this is. I just think it's a really good way for girls to realise that they're not different. Not that they're not different, but like their differences are what makes them who they are, and it's a good thing to not be exactly like a carbon copy of your friend. So I did enjoy this, but obviously not really for my age range anymore, and I will definitely be reading the rest of the series because I don't remember most of this, to be fair. But I am now going to crack on with You With A View. I think I'm just under 14 hours now, so this is, I think, not even the longest one that I've got in this, but it's about 350 pages. I'm going to try and take it slow because I've heard so many good things about this book and I just want to savour it. And I've got Jessica Joyce's next book, The X-Files, on my Kindle, so if I like this, maybe I'll read that, because I seem to be reading a lot of books in like pairs this video by author. So let's see what I think. Finished You With A View, and it was amazing. So in case you didn't know, the story follows a girl called Noelle who is grieving the loss of her grandma, who passed about 6 months ago, I believe it is, and she puts out a TikTok basically showing old pictures of her grandma and some man that she doesn't know, doesn't recognise his name from a letter that was with this photo. She puts it on TikTok, she's going, does anyone know who this is? Let me know if you do. And this guy's grandson reaches out and says, that's my granddad, do you want to meet up and discuss? So they do, and she meets the granddad, who genuinely might be my favourite character. He's just so adorable and just the sweetest little old man ever. And he says, I've got all the letters that your grandma used to send me, I've got pictures, I've got all sorts. So they go and have a look, and she finds a map of a road trip that her grandma and this man were going to take together, and she decides, I want to go on the road trip. She wants to be closer to her grandma, so goes on the road trip with this old man and his grandson Theo, who Theo and Noelle were old college rivals. So there's a bit of history between them, and a little romance starts to blossom, and it's just so cute. The tension they build and the actual chemistry between the characters is so incredible. The writing is gorgeous. The letters, oh my god, I teared up multiple times reading this. It had me. It like grabbed my heart and was like, I'm not letting this go. So unsurprisingly, 5 stars, 6 stars if I could give it. But this book was amazing. So I have downloaded The X-Files, which is Jessica Joyce's next book, on my Kindle, and I also have a copy of it that will hopefully arrive this week. But I think that's going to be my next book. But I've also got some options, just because I don't want to burn myself out reading so many romances in a row, because I've read, I think, 6 romances and 1 like kids fantasy in this video. So just to switch it up, I've also got What You Were Looking For Is in the Library by Mikino Aoyama. I think it is a translated Japanese fiction, so not really something I've ever read before, but I really want to, and this is quite a small one as well, so hopefully like I would struggle with it, because I don't tend to read anything that isn't romance. I'll be real with you, like I own a lot of fantasy books but I don't read them. So that is one of my goals for the end of the year, is to expand what I'm actually reading, because I feel very one note as a reader, only having romance as like the main thing I'm reading. So I want to read this. I don't really know what it's about. I think it's just like a librarian helping people match up to books they think would suit them, or like their soulmate in book form. So I want to read this very much. And then this is a romance, but I've downloaded it anyway because I really want to read it. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I've heard so many good things about this. I know it is an accidental pregnancy, which if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm a big fan of that trope. So I'm definitely going to start X-Files next, but these are next up on my roster of things to be reading also. The 24-hour timer. It took way longer than I was expecting to do this. I planned this video to film in like a week, and it took me just over 2, and the only reason I finished it is because I know that I'm really busy tomorrow and I need to upload this video tomorrow. So I stayed up and finished what I was reading to make up the hours. So I've actually managed to read 11 books in the span of 24 hours. Obviously not straight, this was just the timer method. I plugged it on and off as and when I was reading. So I thought I'd do a little quick wrap up at the end. Obviously you'll see all these books in my August wrap up anyway, but as they are all relevant to this video, I thought I would just show them off, because by the end I was not filming because I stayed up very late and looked very sluggish whilst finishing the books. So I started this off with Strictly the Worst by Carrie Elks. This is about Link and Tessa. I didn't remember the names after I read it, I'm not gonna lie, but I think I gave this one a 3 just compared to the other books in this series, the Salinger brothers? Salinger, I don't know how you say it. Yeah, this was good, wasn't a standout. I remember the 13-year-old daughter in this was probably my favourite part, which is always nice. I believe it was a workplace romance. They've all sort of melded together in my brain, so I will double check these before my August wrap up to give proper reviews of each of them. But this was a 3-star, and this was the first book I read. Then I read When in Rome by Sarah Adams, which I think I said this before, but it's been a while now. Did give me the same vibes as the film Cars with Lightning McQueen in it. This one is a pop star and a baker. She gets stranded in Rome, Kentucky when trying to take a break from her fame for a bit. This is cute. I think I gave this one a 4-star. Again, my ratings are completely lost in my mind, so I'm just making them up on the spot now. I think I gave this a 4-star. I really enjoyed this. It was great for my first Sarah Adams book, and I would definitely be interested in reading more of hers. I've actually picked up the Rule book recently as well because I found it in a TK Maxx. It just took me off guard. I was like, oh, a book I like, let's get it. So very excited to read some more from Sarah Adams. Then I went back to my old reliable Stephanie Archer. We know I love her. I talk about her in like every video at this point. But I read, I think this is her first book, The Heartbreak Rule. And again, I think I gave this 3.54-ish. This is about Gemma and Reed. Didn't remember his name at all. And this one, I did really like it, and they had good chemistry, and the romance and the spice was obviously gorgeous because Stephanie Archer is the queen of romance writing, clearly. But because our main girlie Gemma is a stand-up comedian, there were a lot of jokes in it that just didn't hit for me. I find reading jokes a lot less funny than watching or hearing jokes. So just for me, cringe levels were high. So I think this was about 3.5-ish. Might have gone down because I've read a lot since then. So don't take my word for that because the first impressions were probably higher. Then I read, I've just dropped all the books now. Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams was the, I don't want to say sequel, it's like an interconnected standalones from When in Rome. This is her bodyguard and the main love interest sister, so this is Annie and Will. This is gorgeous. I actually like this even more than When in Rome. I don't think I've got any footage of me reading this because I read it at work, so, or on my lunch breaks at work, so I can't film where I work. But yeah, this was gorgeous. It's like a teaching her how to date kind of thing, which I don't think I've read in a book before, but it was done so well. I'm definitely interested in more of that trope. If anyone is interested in recommending me some in the comments, that'd be great, or my Instagram as well. Yeah, this is great. I think this was a 4.5. It was definitely higher than When in Rome, so if I gave that 4, this was a 4.5. So then I read The Wrong Mr. Right, which is the second book in the Queen's Cove series by Stephanie Archer, which again, we love Stephanie Archer. I want to say I gave this a 3. It was definitely one where I was getting a bit bored in parts of it, but it was a good trope. I think, again, this might be teaching her how to date, or like how to be a hot girl is what she calls it. But she owns a bookstore. It's really cute, the bookstore scenes. He is a surfer, as you can see on the cover. Again, it was great. It had great tension and spicy. It was just a bit middle of the road for my preferences. Middle of the road compared to everything else that I have like been reading. I don't want to say force myself to read, but I'm definitely in slump now, so that should be fun for next week. I then dipped into one of my favourites, which is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. No surprise to anyone, 5 stars. And I annotated this to try and take up a bit more time in the video, because I went through books so much quicker than I anticipated to. I think I was going through books about 2 hours at a time, so I'm clearly a much faster reader than I thought I was. Yes, if you haven't read Harry Potter, or you don't know what it is for whatever reason, it is about our protagonist, Harry, obviously, finds out he's a wizard, and it just talks about him going to school and the yearly challenges that he has to face against the Dark Lord. So it is a great read, highly recommend, but obviously it is aimed for kids, so maybe you would read a bit younger for those that didn't grow up with it, but obviously I recommend. Then again, I dipped into another one from my childhood, Girls in Love by Jacqueline Wilson. It was just tiny, and I bought the books that week, so I thought, why not read it? This was good. I think, again, this was like a 3 or a 2 star, because obviously I'm not the target audience. It was fun to reread it from my childhood. I clearly didn't remember anything about the story, because I could not have told you that there was a 17-year-old trying to hook up with a 13-year-old in this, but thoroughly entertaining, very packed with drama for a tiny book. So again, if you haven't read it, or if you have, definitely recommend it. Or if you've got any younger siblings or kids or anything, probably a good one, but just check content before you do if you're a bit more cautious about what you like your kids or siblings to see. Then I read a surprise 5-star read, You With You by Jessica Joyce. I'd not read any Jessica Joyce before. I'm now a big fan. Well done. This one follows Noelle and Theo as they go on a road trip following their grandparents' planned honeymoon that never went through. So this was just adorable. There's like love letters from her grandma to his grandpa, and they were just so beautifully written. It made me sob. I loved this so much. It was a 5-star for me. I think it was probably one of those where it's the right book at the right time, because I'm not sure. It would probably be at like a 4 or 4.5 if I reread it, but it's a 5-star for me now, so highly recommend. Then I took a very random turn and read a Korean translated fiction called Welcome to the Hinandong Bookshop. This one follows Yeonji as she opens a bookshop and starts recruiting people. It's very much a slice of life, so I did get a little bit bored throughout, but again, if you just want to take a chill pill and just read for reading's sake, then definitely pick this one up. It was enjoyable. I was just a bit like, by the end I was like, cool, I'm done with this now. It's like 50 pages longer than it needed to be. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I think I gave it 2 or 3 stars. Again, I don't really remember what I put. I can always link my Goodreads below if people want to check that out, because my actual ratings will be on there as of whatever I give them when I finish the book, as opposed to me just trying to remember what I gave them. So this one was good. I finished this today and I still don't remember what I rated it. I think it was a 3. So then I read The X-Vows by Jessica Joyce. I, at the start, was a bit disappointed with this one. I found it a lot more, I don't want to say boring, but a lot more dull than You With a View. But But in the end it did end up being a 4 star, so it's still pretty good. By like 100 pages in, it picked up is a second chance romance set at their best friend's wedding, which I did enjoy. I love a good wedding, and I think it was done really well as well, because it wasn't just like, here's a wedding, read it. It had the like the drama of a wedding, like everything going wrong and they're having to help fix everything by the deadline. So I really enjoyed this by the end, so 4 stars for this one. This was Georgia and Eli. Again, I finished this today. I'm really sorry, I'm bad with names. Georgia and Eli. And again, yeah, second chance romance. Don't tend to read those because they're not really for me, but I like this one quite a lot. And then finally, this was a very last minute impulse read that I just binged on my Kindle to fill out the rest of the time. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Absolutely phenomenal. I wish I'd picked this up sooner. This was amazing. For those that don't know, this is a surprise pregnancy trope, which I think I've mentioned in a video before. I really enjoy. Controversial take, but I love a surprise pregnancy trope, or just pregnancy trope in general. Love it. And this one did it so well, it made me cry, which I think Ready or Not, which is the last pregnancy trope book I read, also did. So clearly, I'm a big fan. But yeah, this one was great. It has Win and, oh my god, I've literally just finished it. How do I not know his name? Win and Bo. I knew that. In the depths of my mind, I knew that, and I still couldn't have told you. This follows Win and Bo. They have a one-night stand, which obviously she gets pregnant from. And it's just like, it's their story of how they fall in love and get used to the idea of co-parenting. It's just so beautiful. I think this might be my favourite book I've read all year. I think I said that about Ready or Not, but this one genuinely tugged at my heartstrings so much. I loved it so much. Highly recommend. So those are the 11 books I read. Obviously managed to get 2 5-star reads in the span of 2 weeks, which is always great. Or 3 if you count Harry Potter, but that one was a given. So I hope you enjoyed. It's a bit of a longer one for me. I think it will hit the 30-minute mark after this clip. But yes, I will see you next week with another video. I have no idea what video, because I'm sort of out of order now that I haven't recorded anything for this week, but we'll see what I come up with. See you next week. Bye.